I am very well, thank you. I am well, we are well. All is not always well with the earth, but ultimately all is well. If you can understand what seems to be contradictory, but the earth, as you know, goes through many hiccups and changes, and yes, it sometimes must overthrow certain energetic viruses, so to speak, or it gets bombarded with so much energy, it sort of has to move itself around to adjust. And as the earth itself goes through ascension process, it is also adjusting to that and all the animals and beings that live on it as well. So it is not unusual to be going through changes in yourselves as earth goes through changes within itself because you are, of course, all inexplicably connected to each other, inseparable. Actually, even though many do not feel particularly connected to Earth, the connection cannot be broken. It is only thought to be broken, or the feeling is not there. There's a bit of a uh, hmm, there's a bit of a kink in the connection, so to speak, so that the energy is not flowing as powerfully as it could be, but nonetheless, it is still connected. A plug is in the wall, it is still connected to the energy. As I said, there could be a kink where light is not coming on fully or it's blinking. Nonetheless, the connection is there, and earthlings will feel the effect of changes. Now, this is a privilege for those who live in a world where they have the opportunity to take the time to feel. Now, imagine all of those who are in almost 100% survival mode for their very physical existence. They do not have the privilege. So, what I mean is, they are so focused on physical survival that whether they are feeling Mother Nature go through changes or convolutions, or whether they are feeling their angels or their spirit guides, etc., they do not have the privilege of focusing on those things. So it would behoove you, earthlings, to help your brethren on the earth who are not in such a privileged position to feel what you are allowed to even talk about and feel. Do you see what I mean? In other words, it can be very self absorbed to always worry about what you are all feeling and thinking and growing and your spirit guides and etc. Of course, it is important for you to feel whole and to feel loved. This is important because from that is how you can give further out. But nonetheless, do not forget those who do not have your privilege. And if you consider your moon, you have the light side of your moon and the dark side of your moon. If you consider your earth, if you consider where you are living, being in the light side of the moon, life or privilege, then there are so many who are in the darker side of the moon who do not have your privileges.
Mm.
Now, say that it is your job to be responsible for the entire world population and their woes. Some of this is karmic, but that is not an excuse not to help them. Some of it is political, and for that you can really only pray that their political leaders will also go through a change where they really and truly take care of their own people. This is not happening in many places, and so there is a very uneven distribution of just your most basic needs, such as food, water, and shelter. These are basic needs, and some of you, and well, yes, many of you, have these needs taken care of so automatically that you do not have to worry or think about them, although there are those who, many, are feeling like they are on the brink of having a home and a shelter, food, and etc. And sometimes they feel they're on the brink and are very stressed about this. So you can choose whichever layer of humans you want to help, through prayer, through meditation, through finding a way in your community to give, to send. There are those in your communities, they are very busy traveling to and fro and bringing goods to those in need. You can give something there. In other words, share your privilege, is what I am saying. And allow those who are not privileged to even have the space, as you call it, to think about their spirituality and think about all the nice things that you talk about in your metaphysical lives. Yes, this is my basic message.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else that we can do to be of help? Our prayer and meditation are strong enough to have a good positive effect on these people?
You believe they can be?
Yes.
There's your answer.
All right.
Everything is thought, my dear. Everything is thought. Thought creates form, thought creates energy, thought creates patterns. Thought can travel to any distance in the world. But as I have said, you can meditate and pray, but you can also connect to those who are actually giving physical goods and needs to those even in your own cities and towns. You have your own population who do not have time to think about spirituality because they are surviving, such as your homeless, such as your addicts, such as good, hardworking people who have lost their jobs and are now homeless. It is not only that people who are homeless in your world are homeless because they did something wrong, or as many humans say in their minds, well, they deserve it if that's what they created. This is a very old way to look at it, because you can say that each one creates their reality. You can say that maybe karma brought that person there. You can say many things. This does not need to stop you, and I mean all of you, from practicing your charity, does it?
No, certainly not. And I admit that I haven't been putting much of my energy at all towards that lately. And I'm thanking you for the reminder.
Many people do not. It is easily forgotten. And it is part of the trick to keep you so mixed up in your own worries and thoughts in your highly privileged position so that you forget to take care of those in need. You see what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yes. And this is not about you, Maggie. This is about, I'm giving this message to all, that consider your privilege and consider what you can, that you can help those who are not, so that they can have the space, as I have said, to come more into their more deeply spiritual understanding. However, now I want to say this, that I'm not saying that all who are in the survival mode are unspiritual. Many of them can be more spiritual than most of you because they can keep a heart of gratitude in the most difficult situations. But there are those who are in dire need in other countries that do not have this privilege at all. And there is a way to help them as well. This is what I'm saying. Take care of your whole earth. Those who have, take care of those who have not. And this will also increase your goodwill, your self confidence, and your blessings coming back to you. This is what I want to say. Think of this, the light and the dark side of the moon, and take care of those on the dark side of the moon.
Beautiful.
This is my message.
Thank you so much for the reminder.
You're very welcome, and now I will go.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you for speaking with us today, Hawthorne.
It was my blessing and my pleasure. This is Rujan. Hello.
Hello, Roshan. It's nice to meet you. I've never spoken with you before.
No, you have not, but I have spoken through Sephira before. It has been a while, and well, I am from a realm where I do not need a physical body, but for today, I will come through this physical body simply to meet you. And you were talking about creator beings and angels. And I simply want to say that God has used many different beings in the process of creation. Now, those who procreate, those beings that were created to procreate, of course, continue to be in the creative process with each life that is created. So, the fact that humans also are able to conceive and give birth is also a continuous creative creator being and creative process that God also uses because his energy and spirit and intelligence is embedded also in each life. So it is God's way of constantly expanding himself as well. Now, you humans are unfortunately not very well trained to procreate, although, and I don't mean now the physical act, but the spiritual act of procreation. And so many children are born and they are not wanted and they are not well cared for. Yes, this is a reality, but many say, oh, well, we have chosen to come into life in this way in order to be able to relive a lesson or experience this particular life. And sometimes it is simply irresponsibility of those who have created. Now, God wants to help you, well, not just help, God wants you to be a responsible creator, a responsible creator. So before you decide to have children, then please create yourself in the highest possible form you can before having children. This way you can be very responsible as a creator being while you are creating the next life form. Yes, this is one thing I wanted to share. Then, of course, there are many angels, and you could say creator beings. There are other beings created to help with creation. It is a very, very complex, ever flowing, ever moving, ever growing process, which is, do not expect to hold it all in your brain and to comprehend it. Matter of fact, it would be nice to let go of trying to comprehend it all in order to move forward because it will be literally impossible. It doesn't even matter how it was and who it was. And you are able to connect to that very highest energy of your creator being. But what you are saying is, how can I connect to God Himself, God herself, God itself? That is the ultimate creational being. That is the ultimate, as you call the great creator, the one creator, to strive to connect to. You want to connect to your creator being, but ultimately it is God who created the creator being, correct?
Correct. I find it easier to connect to God than I do to connect to my own creator self.
Well, in connecting to God, you are connecting to your creator self. It's very simple.
Hmm.
That's, that's all you need to know, my dear. That is all you and anybody else needs to know. Of course, the information is interesting, and you can cultivate certain gifts and abilities in connecting to God and into your creator being capabilities, but you can do that anyway without overcomplicating your mind as to how it all works. This is really all I want to say. Important is the connection, not how it all works and where it all came from. Yes, do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I do understand what you're saying. Yes, thank you.
Hmm.
I have I have a question about our aspect of being creator beings in connection to the sacral chakra. Should we, as creator beings, do we have special or enhanced abilities that come from our sacral, especially as women, because that is the seat of creation within our bodies? Is there a way for us to utilize that better, or that chakra better?
There are always going to be ways to utilize your chakra energy better. And it is not only because you are creator beings, because all humans are meant to be co-creators with God. We
Mm.
continually create. Now, most of you women, your sacral chakras are sorely minimalized through the histories of suppression, shame, and the wrong use of sexuality. Sexuality was meant to be used alongside spirituality, but it is often not that way. And sex is often done in a very unconscious state of simply enjoying the feeling. And there is nothing wrong in enjoying the feeling, but when it can be so much more when it is done in a more spiritual way. In other words, understanding that your sexuality and your partner's sexuality are expressing the male and female aspects of God.
Mm.
And when you unite with that understanding and that desire, you can have a more deeper experience, but especially before procreating. It is important to bring that light and consciousness into the act of procreating. Yes. But first, you must create yourselves before that in order to, as I said, be as clear and as spiritually mature and as connected to God as possible before procreation.
Well, my idea for myself is always that I do not want to have children of my own until I have cleared the great majority of my traumas, because I don't want to pass down any of that to my children. So that point is well noted, because that's exactly how I feel. I want my own children to be as happy and pure as possible, and I don't want to have any part in being irresponsible and imprinting my stuff on them.
Understood. Now, there are some memories which will not be triggered before having children. So there are some things that will come up during having a child, the pregnancy and the birth and the raising of children.
Hmm.
You have years and years of patterns that you yourself have developed, but also perhaps some past life experience with birthing. But this is fine. If you are well versed in clearing your trauma, then you allow these things to come up and then you can quickly resolve them instead of having them linger. The point is not to avoid experiencing all trauma. The point is to learn how to release as quickly as you can in order to not have it linger any further than it has already been lingering.
Yes, I'm personally going through a crash course on that right now, so thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Don't forget to breathe in. Always breathe in the love of God while you are going through what you are going through. What you release, fill up. Release, fill up, release, fill up. Otherwise, you will feel empty if you are only releasing without refilling.
I see. I've been trying to make a point to do that.
Very well. Well, I'm only saying continue to do this.
Can I ask you one more question in relation to the sacral? You said that a lot of women, especially, their sexuality has been used in a very wrong way for a very long time, and many, if not most of us, have a lot of these traumas and darknesses imprinted in that space in our body. And for me, at least, it's certain things I'm very good at clearing, but sacral stuff, it's very hard for me to clear. So do you have any advice for those of us who are trying to clear those patterns? Any ways for us to be able to clear them more efficiently or more quickly? It seems to happen very slowly, the healing of that space, at least for me.
Just a moment.
Thank you.
One way is to be creative. Use your creativity. Manifest it out of yourself. This is one way to strengthen that chakra.
Beautiful.
It's not only releasing, it is also strengthening. So that is one way. The other way is to use colors corresponding to that chakra. Eat orange. Use orange oil. Wear orange, a pure cloth around your chakra area. This will help to, oh, yes, and the carniol stone, as you call it. Wear this pocket next to your sacral chakra. This will help strengthen so that the desire to be sensuous again will be reignited. Then you can go through a forgiveness ceremony of your ancestors who have experienced rape, have experienced child rape, who have experienced being sold as children for slave labor and for sexual use, for the suppression of the voice, and the suppression of one's own desire, for the suppression of children being killed as they are born in wars, in population control. There are so many histories just on your planet alone, and just with your own ancestry alone, that is very heavy, and this is why it is harder to clear this area, especially because there's been an effort to keep the female from totally uniting with her wildly, powerfully creative aspect, totally connected to God and to Gaia. Because if this power should explode, it would be like a nuclear bomb of light and creativity. So find ways to create. I have given you some very practical means in which to strengthen this area.
Thank you. That power is the power that I want to access, but it seems hidden in like a diamond hidden in the middle of a very, very big piece of coal. It's been hard for me to get to it. So that's very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, and of course there are trust issues with men, trust issues with your partner, trust issues with your sense of value that he values you for more than just sexuality. Now, many men are happy to have a partner for sex. I am not saying they only want sex, but it is a vital element for them in any relationship, whereas for women, it is not quite as vital in the same way. Now, I do not want to say generally all women or all men, this would be unfair, but I think you know what I mean.
I do.
Yes. So there are, of course, trust issues. Yes, this is a very, very multi layered thing, and it needs constant ho o pono pono.
Mm.
Ho o pono pono. Write down the things that block your trust to being open with your sacral energy. Write down the things that need forgiveness ancestrally, even if you don't know them. I've named several. I'm sure you can imagine historically all of these things. Write down your own personal history with sexuality and with your sacral chakra, and just constantly look at them. You don't have to read each and every one, but it might be helpful. And just constantly, I forgive, ho'oponopono, 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 constantly. I do not mean now every minute of the day, but put it in a place that you can at least let your eye glance over it and just throw a forgiveness prayer when you see it quickly. You just, I know you are the kind of person, if you get an assignment, you will stress about how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
I'm not trying now to give you more stress. This will not help. Just know that there are many ancestral, many historical, many trust issues in your own personal life connected to the sacral chakra. Not only, but especially because the sexual energy is so powerful and it has been suppressed so powerfully. And so it does, I do not want to say it takes time because it can take a second to clear, it can take longer. I don't want to give a judgment on how long it should take, but I'm simply giving you tools to help you clear more consistently as you have requested.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me of the forgiveness prayer because I've often used it and it's very powerful, but I have not used it lately.
Correct. And please get yourself some oil with the orange smell to it and rub it in that area. Please get yourself a carnial stone to keep in your pocket next to that area. Eat the orange color, be it your vegetables or your fruits. Think orange, my dear. Think orange.
I love orange, so I
Yes.
will definitely do that. Thank you so much.
Do you wear orange, by the way?
I do. I'm actually wearing a carnelian necklace right now.
Ah, very good. Very well. Okay. Send that energy down into your sacral area.
Wonderful.
Very good. Very well. I am going and I will bring in.
Thank you so much, Rujan. It was wonderful to meet you. I hope to talk to you again.
A great pleasure for me as well. And hello, my dear. This is Kwaya. And how are you?
I'm wonderful, Claudia. How are you?
I am fine. I really do not need to add any more words to what was said. I simply am coming to say hello and to meet you.
I'm so glad you're here, and I love listening to Sephira channel like this. The messages that are coming through are so wonderful.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I am proud of her. Yes.
I wanted to, when I channeled you the other day, the energy felt kind of strange. Can you speak to that? Why it was that strange feeling? I felt a bit manic when I was channeling you, and I don't think that was your energy. Maybe the combination of our energies created a strange energy.
My energy was not manic, my dear.
No, I know that. I know. I do not know you to be manic at all, so it was strange to feel that when I was channeling you.
You weren't feeling my energy. You were simply feeling your own up and down insecurity in that moment. This is all.
Okay, I see. I assume that that was probably something like that.
Yes, yes. You are fine, my dear. You are fine. A little bit hyper at times, and you know this is how you can be, and that is fine. I want you to be you without feeling like you are always doing something wrong. You tend to feel like you are always doing something wrong. And this is so counterproductive to what you are, to who you are, first of all, and to what you are trying to accomplish in your life. Always
Yes.
feeling that there is something you are doing wrong. This is a very sad state of being, but it is not so far from how Sephira feels as well. So it is a difficult balance. Oh, not only you and Sephira, so many, without even knowing, you are in the back of your mind always feeling like something is not quite right in what you should be doing and the way you are doing it. Oh, this is just so much pressure. Allow yourself just to be you. And it is okay. You cannot be on a high wire 24 hours of your days. You understand?
Yes, yes, I do. I've been trying very hard to clear that feeling of always that self-critical feeling, but I think for me and maybe Saphir and for a lot of people, it's just very hardwired childhood programming. I've been trying to replace those thoughts with a new vibration every time I feel them coming up.
And that is pretty much all you can do, except you can also reach out beyond your own brain process in that moment and call on any name that you know from us, from your guides, from your angels. Just call out a name. Just takes 1 second to call out a name. And they will also enlighten your mind,
Mm.
reprogram that type of thinking.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. It's one of my flaws that I always try to do things on my own, and it's not my first instinct to ask for support, so thank you for that reminder.
Oh, you're welcome. You humans are very similar in that way. And sometimes you have to go through some very hard knocks in order to realize that you are allowed to let it all go and to fall back into life itself and who you are and let it flow. Now, many of you do not know who you truly are because you have been told your entire life who you are supposed to be. And do you know who you are? Aside from all the things you have been told you are supposed to be. Do you see what I mean?
I do. I do. It's been a long process of unlearning and relearning, but I think I'm getting closer. It
Yes,
was the most liberating thing of my life when I awakened and I learned that I'm not who everybody always told me that I was. It was the most beautiful moment that I've ever had.
yes, yes. Ah, yes, it is like being in a pressure cooker and then having the steam let out.
Mm.
It hisses and it hisses, and it hisses, and then the pot can be opened and the beautiful food inside can be enjoyed.
Yes. I like that analogy.
Yes, your lives are in pressure cookers, and you are pressed, it is pressed upon you to be and to do. Now, the metaphysical world will do this as well. It is at fault. They're always making you feel like you're not doing enough to help yourself and others. It should be a natural thing and not forced. It should be a natural flow. But I know that many of you within the metaphysical world feel like there is so much to do. I am not enough. I am not doing enough. I am not good enough. This is a flaw within the religious world and within the metaphysical world. It is therefore good to have examples of humans around you that are embodying that natural flow and just be with them. Listen to them. Just be with them. Pick up that energy. You see?
I do. I do.
This is what leaders are all about. To lead out, to draw out the greatness in others without always reprimanding that they must be better and better and better, without being the leadership those people need to lead them out naturally.
Yeah,
But
I think that that's what leadership is all about. That's what I wish that I would see more of, and it's what I try to do myself when other people ask me for help. And I hope that more and more people will try to set that kind of example, because I am in total agreement with you.
yes, and really, I do not wish to speak so much now because I do not wish to add to your list of things to think about and to worry about. Let you relax and be you and imagine yourself on a leaf which is traveling down the river when you feel too stressed, and just there is nothing else but that leaf and the movement and the river and the sounds of the river. That's all you need, my dear.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Very well, I am also going, and I will see you and talk with you again.
Have a wonderful day, Kwai'a. It was a pleasure to speak with you.
Of course. Thank you. Okay.
Greetings. I am Freya.
Hello, Freya. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am happy to be sitting in this beautiful feminine vessel. How are you today, Sephira?
I'm good. I believe we've talked before, correct?
Yes.
You are from the elemental world. Is that correct?
I am from many worlds. Elemental, yes. But I am also from the higher realms, if you want to look at it that way. I have many presences.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We were talking about the sacral, the creative chakra for women. Hear any of what was shared? If you have anything to add to all of that, that would be.
I heard what was shared, and to add to it, I would like to say that many women suppress their sacral energy consciously. Much of the energy is suppressed unconsciously due to generational trauma, the traumas of this life. But many women are afraid to express themselves from there because they feel they need to fit into a certain role. And to that I say, fuck the roles that you believe you need to fit in and that other people would put on you. This is what is missing in this time with your women. The women who worshipped me many, many years ago, and I who danced with them, we were unbridled. We let our energy flow. We danced naked around the fire. And many of the women today do not even let themselves express a fraction of that sort of energy. This wildness has been so domesticated. Let it free again. Let it free. It is not as hard as you think. Dance, the act of dance is so powerful. And many people do not even let themselves dance with themselves alone at home, for they have made themselves and been made so small that they question even the movement of their own body. You know how sad that is for me to see.
That is very true. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Women have so much power in their movement. You are sensual, you are fluid beings, and much of your power can be expressed and harnessed in your movement. But in your society, your movement has been sexualized in this way and that way and been given these labels so that women who act in this way are labeled in a way that many women do not want to be labeled, and thus they make themselves small. This is, like I have said, very, very small. And who is going to reclaim this power in an empowering way? Except for you women, you need to take it back. You need to reject these labels.
Yes. And some of it comes from basically mistrust that power or expression will be misunderstood or taken advantage of. So I think that's where that comes from as well.
It is one thing to be misunderstood, and you cannot control the fact if others will choose to misunderstand you. As you know, many do misunderstand you, and they do so willingly to make themselves feel more comfortable. What is the other thing that you said? Misunderstanding in what?
Well, they don't want to be misused by men, so
misused.
They hold back their sexuality. Yes.
You cannot. There is never a time where you can control whether or not you are understood. You can beg someone to understand you and understand you and understand you, and you can explain it like you would explain it to a preschooler. But if they are not going to understand you, then they will not understand you. However, you do have the power not to be used. Many of you think that you are just being used all the time. Women have gotten into this victim mentality. Well, they are using me, they are using me, they are using me. I've been used and abused. But you cannot be used unless you allow yourself to be used. Be in the vibration that you will not be used, that you are expressing this power in a self-empowering way. This power is not for others, it is for you. Do not give it to others. I know I'm speaking in abstract terms right now, but I think that you get the essence of what I am saying.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. So in your exchanges on your realm of life, do you have the mix? Do you live together with male aspects of yourself? Do you harmonize well together with them?
Yes.
However that looks.
Male and female energies where I am, or where I spend much of my time, are dichotomized in the same way they are with your people, but the society, the culture around it is very different. People have a sacred respect for the feminine energy, and it is quite the opposite in your culture right now. This is why I'm telling you as women that it is up to you to reclaim it and redefine it in the right way. Many women are reclaiming it in the wrong way. They are reclaiming their sexuality and going out and spreading it around and acting as using their sexuality as men use their sexualities, and this is not the correct way for a female to use her sexual power. It is something to be harnessed and treasured, not something to be spread to this partner or that partner or that partner. If you are conscious, it is one thing, but this movement of sleeping around and being unattached and living this way in the same way that men do, having the same attitude, does not work for you. And women are finding themselves much disempowered by these acts. They are trying to define themselves in, I suppose, the only way that you know at this time, because true feminine energy, you do not have a good picture of it on your world at this time. And the only thing that you really see about people who are empowered in their sexuality or more in control are men, but you should not be emulating men. And I know that you know this, but in general, it is a problem.
Oh, yes, I understand. Yes. Well, how do women then find the right role model for their femininity? Well, I don't just want to say femininity, their expression of creativity and their sacral sexual energy also.
One moment. I would recommend you to look to your goddesses of old. Look to me. Look to Athena. Look to Artemis. Look to these archetypes, these powerful archetypes of women who were once seen and worshipped as goddesses in your world, for they were worshipped for a reason, for they did have this power, and they emulated this power in a way that would be very beneficial for your women today. I am sorry to say that I cannot personally think of any current time examples for you to emulate, that names that you would recognize, because I do not recognize any big names at this time you could turn to. Look to these archetypes of feminine power and channel this power. Ask these beings, ask Divine Mother Gaia for her energy. She will fill you with this energy. But certainly do not look to examples in your modern culture, because you will find few there.
Yes, and unfortunately, men also are lacking enough role models for their own use of their own sexual energy, sacral energy, which is more than just sexual. But
this is true as well.
Yes, we were talking before about when we are ready to procreate, to have this, the maturity, the emotional, mental, spiritual maturity, so that when we are creating responsibly. We can take care of what we have created responsibly. But
yes,
men are also lacking role models as well. What would you suggest? We need to educate men, and I don't mean sit them down and have a talk, but just in being. Well, maybe just you're saying that as we come into our own true power and energy and understanding our own creativity, that men will sort of understand it and follow with their own understanding of who they are. Is that what you would recommend?
There are many figures similarly to what I have just said that men can look to as examples of what great manhood is. Jesus Christ being one of them, but certainly there are many more. I personally deal with feminine energies. I am focused on the feminine collective, so I will leave it to another or to the men themselves to sort that out. But yes, as the female regains her power, regains the expression, the more healthy expression of this sacred power, the men will be forced to fall into line. They will be forced to step up. This is why women in your earth at this time carry such a heavy burden, because this shift is happening. They do not call it the rise of the feminine for nothing. The masculine will follow. The women are rising because they must. They have been put down for too long. And certainly the way the power is distributed in your world right now, many men will not go willingly. But as the women arise, they will have no choice but to follow this example, follow this good example.
Thank
and
you.
learn to renegotiate in their minds and within themselves as a collective what it means to be a man, for they will see women much differently. Women must redefine themselves in some ways in order for men to redefine themselves, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, of course, yes. I think you expressed very eloquently what I was trying to ask you about.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are absolutely correct.
Thank you. So, what else would you like to share with us?
That is mostly what I wanted to share today. I want to invite you personally and more women in general to spend more time in nature. I know this idea, this picture of women dancing naked around a fire invokes many different kinds of ideas and impressions in your brain because how you've seen this in your literature and media. But how I would love to see more women doing this, expressing this way, being unashamed of their bodies, showing forth themselves to the world, laying themselves bare to the sky, to Gaia, to everything that is earth, everything that is you, to be in connection in this way, to channel this wild energy, to empower Gaia and be empowered by her, to become one with her. This is what we were doing. And if you could do this in some small way or your own version of it, you will rise so quickly, especially if you come together to do it and you join your energies. My God, how powerful it will be. Join me in this place. Your culture needs this at this time. It sounds radical and it sounds like witchcraft and scary things to many people, I know, but this is the true naked essence of the power that you hold within you as women. This is, you did not used to be so afraid of expressing it. You expressed it so wildly before. I encourage you to reclaim some of this wildness until it is fully back in you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being someone who is receptive to these messages. I know that they will not fall upon everyone's ears who these messages fall upon will not like what I have to say, but this is how I see it, and I want better for your women.
Thank you. There is a book called Women Who Run with the Wolves.
I like it already.
It was about the topic that you're speaking of, and I think I need to get that book and read it. I had the book for a long time. I never managed to read it, but that is a book I could recommend. I'm sure if Maggie knew it, she would recommend it for us women to read.
And that would be beautiful. Thank you for that recommendation. I think that book grounds much of what I am saying in a way that people can have something in their hands as a guide to go by.
Yes. Thank you. That was great. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here with us. Unless there's anything else you would like to talk about, I'm happy to listen. We're happy to listen.
That is all for now. I will just tell you to be wild, be wild, be wild. Be wild. I want to see your wild, beautiful femininity expressed. I want it to be uncovered and become a shining light in this world. Of course, that process is happening, but you as individuals can do much to hurry it along in your own personal practice and expression.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Freya, we will talk again.
Yes, call on me anytime you'd like. And until the next time, I send you my love and blessings.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Freya. Hey.